No, not much. I'm in Lillehammer at a street spot. Yeah, setting up a spot right now. Just shoveling some snow.
What? You're doing what?
Yeah, with a shovel.
You do not shovel your own spots. Put down the shovel. Put down the shovel.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna arrange this for you.
I've probably watched this video hundreds of times. It's one of those videos that I keep coming back to, not necessarily because of one specific shot or one specific trick, but because of the way it feels. This is Horgasm. This is Horgasm, a love story. It's a snowboarding documentary that I grew up watching. I've always loved how the editors seem to embrace the chaos of the film, and there's one style of shooting that they use throughout that has always stuck with me. I call it long exposure burst photography. It's chaotic, it's imperfect, and it feels completely different from the way I usually go about taking pictures. And recently I decided to take this idea and apply it to something completely different, a music festival. So, for this video, I want to break down what I like about this film, specifically the way it approaches storytelling and cinematography, and then show how I took some of those ideas and applied it to my own photography. One of the biggest things that stands out to me about this snowboarding film is that it doesn't really feel like a traditional sports documentary. Normally you'd expect a pretty structured story. Here's the athlete, here's the competition, here's the challenge, here's the big accomplishment, and then the conclusion. But Horgasm doesn't really follow these rules. Instead, the filmmakers mix huge snowboarding sequences with behind the scenes footage, traveling, partying, friendship, jokes, and just everyday real life moments. There's also huge variety in the actual footage. They go from these really beautiful, expensive looking, professionally shot traditional images like this to something that looks like it was shot on an iPhone, like maybe this.
Why do you play Xbox?
I gotta keep my reaction up to par, be on point with brain speed.
And then suddenly there's this weird grayscale shot or something that just looks completely imperfect.
Around for the snowboarding, the tour,
awesome,
the contest stuff.
So you're like a world traveling famous snowboarder dude then.
Pretty much, I guess.
I think that's part of what makes the film work. The imperfections actually help communicate what snowboarding is like. It's unpredictable, it's chaotic, it's funny, it's dangerous, it's social, and the film making reflects the culture instead of trying to make everything look perfectly polished. So let's talk about long exposure burst style photography. Instead of freezing a rider perfectly in the air, the camera captures movement over a longer exposure, sometimes with multiple frames or bursts. The result is that you don't just see where the subject was going. You see the chaos in the movement. You see the movement in the long exposure. And you get a sense of what it actually felt like to be there. I've seen this style pop up in other places too, on social media and with my photography friends and in other sports action videos. However, seeing it used throughout a film that I have watched so many times actually... Oopsies. However, seeing it used throughout a film that I had watched so many times made me want to actually try it myself. And earlier this month, I got the opportunity to photograph some of my friends and my partner at a music festival. And almost immediately, I started thinking about this style of photography. Because a music festival is incredibly chaotic, there's crowds of people, lasers, lights, loud music, movement happening everywhere, and just a ridiculous amount of auditory and visual stimulus. And when I thought about it, I thought there was actually a pretty interesting parallel. The life of a professional snowboarder is also full of constant stimulus. There's riding, competitions, filming, traveling, editing, social media, parties, friends, and you got to deal with injuries. There's always something happening. That feeling of controlled, or maybe not so controlled, chaos is something that I wanted to capture. So instead of trying to make every photo perfect, I wanted to see what would happen if I embraced the chaos. These are some of the photos that I ended up taking. And they're definitely not the types of photos I would normally take. They're messy, they're unpredictable. Some of them wouldn't work at all if I was trying to submit this as a traditional polished set of photographs. But that's kind of the point. I think my biggest takeaway from this experience is that despite the need for organization, despite the human need for traditions and rituals and all these rules, They all exist to be broken. The filmmakers didn't try and hide the chaos. They leaned into it, probably because they loved it and it was their experience that they were living. After watching the film so many times, I realized that I could take the same idea and apply it somewhere completely different, somewhere equally as chaotic. A snowboarding film and a music festival might seem like completely different subjects, but when you look at the feeling behind them, they're not actually that different. Sometimes the best way to tell a story isn't to control everything. It's to let the camera get a little messy. Thank you.
Dude, every single snowboard video is just like, oh my god, we're like in the mountains, it's so epic, like building a jump, like the best riders in the world. God damn it, what a stupid sport.